excited to have this opportunity, not only to welcome members from our region, but also the really exciting part for us, which is to meet members from our sister group, SI Oakland in California. And as has already been said, we're extremely grateful that you've gotten up early for us, and that you're coming to join us, particularly as we celebrate this really special centenary time for the movement. For us in Milton Keynes back in 2015, when we were chartered, we really were the new kids on the block. We still feel very much the new kids on the block. And when we hear about Bedford and Hertford celebrating members that have served for 50 years and 25 years, that's just incredible. We literally this month celebrate our 6th birthday, so we're still very, very young, but we're very, very happy to be part of the group. So thank you for that. Part of that excitement back in 2015 was the huge honour of having a friendship link with Oakland, which was extremely humbling and exciting for us. And you will hear more about that a little bit later when we show you the play. So a really warm welcome to everybody coming back to join this afternoon's part of the presentation. It really is amazing to come together, albeit that it is virtually. But I think what we've learned from the last year or 18 months is that actually being able to join together virtually means that we can cross lots of time barriers, as we're doing today, and also distance as well. So huge thanks to colleagues in the region, particularly from St Albans, for supporting with all the tech background today as well, and really well done. And thank you to President Helen for allowing us this opportunity. So at this point, it would be really nice to hand over to SI Oakland. I know we've got 5 members there, which include President Carolyn, where we would like to hear a little bit about their plans for any celebrations for the centenary, but also your thoughts about joining us today as well. So if I can just hand over to President Carolyn to say a few words. I'm hoping President Carolyn is there.
She hasn't got her video on.
Okay.
Angie.
And she's muted.
Okay, we've lost Carolyn for a moment. I'll throw it out there to members joining us from California. And Joyce, you seem to be coming through loud and clear. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what today means for you to be joining together?
Well, I think it's pretty exciting. And to me, it represents what Soroptimist is all about. I'm so glad that you reached out to us. It's such a pleasure to be on and to say hello to people who are thousands of miles away, just like we're not. And this is what the sisterhood is all about, getting to know each other and getting to help and serve and mix with women from anywhere and everywhere in the world. And thank you so much for having us.
Brilliant, thank you. Well, that's a great introduction. Can I just check with you, Joyce? Is that a glass of Californian wine that you've got behind you on the side there that I can see in the background? Are you celebrating even though it's 8 a.m.?
Oh my gosh, you've outed me. Can I say this is California apple juice?
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Well, thank you, Joyce. That's good to get that introduction. As you know, we do have some questions that we wanted to ask you. We're really interested in finding out more about what it means to be a Soroptimist in the United States. So I don't know if we can throw some questions out there to your group to see if we can find out a little bit more about what you do. Would that be okay?
That would be wonderful. Can I get some help from from my other sisters here in Oakland.
So
Sure.
we've got Karen, we've got Catherine, Elaine, and Carolyn as well. So hopefully you can all hear, and I'll just go through some of the questions that our members.
I'm here. I'm sorry.
Brilliant.
I'm here.
So the first question we wanted to know was, obviously we know that being a Soroptimist in America is quite different to the way that we have our clubs in the UK, but we're really interested to know about how you attract new members, and one of our Soroptimists has asked that question. So I don't know if somebody would like to talk us through that.
Through word of mouth, 1, 2, getting friends and relatives to come to our meetings, and through other meetings that we might attend. But the main thing is through word of mouth, getting members interested in having events where people can attend and come and ask questions about Soroptimists. It's probably one of the best kept secrets, but we're trying our best to advertise and let people know that we're there and what we do. We're doing a better job of it as far as advertising.
Carolyn, do you want to say a few words about our club?
Yes, I can. I'm sorry. I had to go outside to take my dog for a walk right quick. Soroptimist International of Oakland, has been around for 100 years. What we try to do is to make sure that we participate in our regional activities. But in order to try to draw others in, we do things in order to help our community. Not too long ago, we kept hearing a lot about what's going on within our school system and how kids in the flatlands were being underserved. A lot of the programs were being discontinued in the school. A lot of the programs had stopped because of funding. So in order to try to assist and help, we decided to do some things in order to help the kids. 16 years ago, we started up a project, a shoe project, where we went into the schools, and two of our teachers work in those schools, and asked them, how can we help them? What is it that they needed? And we found out that we needed to help and assist in areas to bring awareness of women and girls and how traditional jobs are being thought of only men, being a police officer, being a fireman, being a civil engineer, being a contractor, being an artist. And what we did was try to bring in women in these professions to see that, hey, I can do anything I want to do. I can be a fireman, and having them come in and speak to the kids. And in doing that, we also had lunch with them. We provided transportation, and we purchased shoes for them. We found out that a lot of kids only had one pair of shoes. Some of them were going to school without proper shoes. So we hooked up with some of the shoe stores and arranged for us to bus the kids into the shoe store, pick out shoes, have lunch for them, and get to know them better. So that was one way of doing it. We've been doing this for 16 years. And then this year, because of Kamala Harris, we decided to sort of honor her and her being who she is, and looking at what the girls can do in order to succeed. This year, we wind up having the girls do virtual contact, and they enjoyed it. And they did art project as well. So we've been doing quite a bit. And I can't remember the name of the shoes, the tennis shoes that Kamala wears. Chuck, Karen, can you help me?
I can't remember them either.
The tennis shoes that she wears all the time.
Converse.
The Converse, yeah. We bought each girl a pair of Converse, and our things were steps to success. to let the girls know that, hey, reach for the stars. You can be who you are. And we also have a community grant program where agencies that serve girls are able to apply for grant money in order to help their organization. And we do things, fundraisers, in order to raise the money, and also members help out. But we try our best to make sure that we serve the girls, and we're out there in front, let people know that we're there in order to help the girls. And by doing this, we attract members as well.
That's
And we
fantastic.
also try to get our members to invite their friends. During the Christmas time, we have a holiday auction, and people bid on different items in order to help us to raise funds in order to carry on our mission and what we do. So that gives you a little bit overall of who we are. We participate in our Live Your Dream through our regional program, and I don't know if you guys know about Live Your Dream.
No, that would be interesting to hear.
Pardon?
That would be interesting to hear about. I'm not aware of that one.
Live Your Dream is where you have an adult who's over the family, who's looking in order to improve her life. She goes back to school. She's dealt with adversity, and she can wind up getting grant money in order to help her family. She can win up to $5,000 to $10,000 to compete on the overall regional. And we've had women have gone back to school to get their degrees in order to become a nurse, to become lawyers, depending on what their field is, and been able to get their degrees. Sorry, my nose is running.
Carolyn, that's brilliant. I mean, that gives us a really good sort of broad insight into the kind of things that you're doing. And, you know, on behalf of us all here, bravo to you all in Oakland, because, you know, giving children shoes is really, you know, a very important thing to be able to focus on, and obviously all the other activities that you're doing as well. I've just got another question that's come through, which is a question about CSW. So did any of the Oakland members attend the CSW this year?
Now, what is the SW?
It's just remind me. CSW, I think, is the sorry, I'm
it's the Commission on the Status of Women, I think.
Of course it is, Commission on the Status of Women, which I think is it usually in New York? Was it done virtually this year? I don't know if you guys get involved in California.
I don't think so. Some of our members are on here that would know.
No.
Really?
That's interesting. We've had some members from our region attend before and come to New York for that event. So that's quite interesting. So
Elaine, I wonder if Elaine is familiar with that.
I am
think
not.
No? Okay.
No.
Maybe that's something we can share with you then. So it might be something we could link up with. I'm sure there's some links. We've got a note here to say there were 25,000 attendees. I guess that's from this year, just from the note that's come through. And it looks like some of our Canadian members attended that are also on this meeting as well. But I guess it's all about access and the kind of things that you're focused on. So just one other question that we've got here, which is about how your work is regarded in the community. So it's really interesting that Carolyn said about Soroptimist being a really good, well-kept secret. Is it difficult to get the community to understand what it is that you're trying to do?
We're doing better, as I said, getting people to know who we are, advertising, trying to get things in the paper. trying to get the word out. One of the best way in order to get the information out is members not being afraid to say, I'm a member of Soroptimist, and to tell people what you do. Talk about Soroptimist, be excited about Soroptimist, knowing that we do a great job. And with our shoe project, when people find out what we're doing, they get so excited. For 16 years, we've been giving out shoes, and to see the smiles on the kids' face, where when they go into a shoe store, some of them have never been in a shoe store except for their parents buying shoes for them. And then when they do go to the shoe store, they're with us. Not a lot of them are with their parents. So they're able to pick out the shoes. And it's an exciting trip, excursions, because the girls want to buy the high heel shoes, and we're there to assist with them. So they take comments from us and they get some nice shoes. And it's really nice to see a kid shine. And then they're able to figure out addition and subtraction, because they get a certain amount of money they can spend, and they can look through the store and see if they get sales. And we teach them math as well on this day. And you find some kids are able to really spend their money accordingly and be able to get more than a pair of shoes, maybe a purse to match their shoes, things that will make them happy. I'm just saying this just to see the faces of the girls and to see the members interact with the kids from the schools. It brings joy to our hearts and our minds to know that we're trying to help individuals change their lives, and to have them understand of who we are. We keep in touch with the girls too, to see what they're doing. They tell us about their grades, their subjects, and what they want to become. To see a young girl able to talk to a police officer about, why they got involved in the police department, why a civil engineer decided to move off into that job, why somebody that works on the Bay Bridges is able to make a living of that. A contractor, a lot of times young people think that only men are contractors. Women don't do that type of work. But being a word throughout the city to know who we are, but to be proud of who we are, to wear your badge. And people say, what is that? Soroptimist. Soroptimist is who we are. Soroptimist is who we can be. Soroptimist is an organization that helps women and girls. And the more you publicize it, the more people know who you are and talk about what you do.
Absolutely. It's wonderful to hear you say that, because I think we would all agree, and I totally applaud what you're saying, that quite often we'll start a conversation and we have to explain what that is, what it means to be a Soroptimist, and we should all have pride. And I can see from the messages coming through, everybody is agreeing with that, and we should shout it from the rooftops. And if we can explain and we can tell people what we do, because quietly getting on with things doesn't spread the word in the same way. So well done. One last question, just because of time, and I know we will and we fully intend to follow up these friendship links to try and link up with you guys outside of this conference as well. But the last question, just from the group, is how are you celebrating 100 years? Now we know that Joyce has got her apple juice, but are you opening a bottle of champagne? Is it too early for you? What are you doing to celebrate 100 years since everything started in Oakland?
I'm gonna give this to someone else, but what we're working on our celebration. It's not going to be until October, and hopefully Karen or Carol, you want to say something about this?
Is Carol on? I don't think she's
going to be a little bit late, but we have a committee that's working on it right now.
So we were actually 4 years ago, we were planning to have a big event, and it was in the works, and then everything shut down. And so it was going to be our whole region, or in it, you know, 2 clubs, because we have quite a few clubs in our area, and 2 clubs, including us, we're going to take on the lead. And then with the shutdown, it didn't happen, and the regional meeting happened on Zoom. But our club is now planning to have an event in October. So we're just in the works of making that happen, inviting other people. And you know, we're also thinking of inviting our friendship club. So we'll let you know. Yeah, we're excited about it as well.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. Can I just say that when the group in Milton Keynes, we rehearsed and recorded the play that you're going to see that's coming up, we felt very humbled by the women that came before us, and it's given us a really strong understanding of how things started in Oakland. And, you know, without these incredible women that came before us, none of the amazing things that happen all across the world would be happening. So it really is brilliantly resonant for us to be linking up with you on this occasion, but also makes it even more special that we do have this friendship link between us. And I know that Oakland also have friendship links with some of the other regional clubs as well that date back long before Milton Keynes. So it would be lovely if we're able to join in those celebrations. Then, you know, it may mean getting up in the middle of the night, but we may be able to do that. So that would be brilliant. And thank you so much for staying on. I know that you're going to stay on now for the second half and the celebration. Pinky, was there something you wanted to add?
Yeah, just that we have got 2 members from the Greater London Club here, and Irene Cockcroft is a historian, and there is a connection between, because the Greater London Club is the oldest club in our region. Milton Keynes is the youngest club in our region. So I just wondered if Irene wanted to say hello to the Oakland Club in California. I don't know if that...
Thanks. Thank you very much, Jane. I'm sorry, my voice goes croaky in the afternoon because I sit at my computer all day. I don't meet people anymore because we're in lockdown, and my voice has stopped working. Anyway, it is absolutely lovely to be here and to see you all from SI Oakland, because you know, we think of you as our mother. I'm sorry. Perhaps that's a bit of a shock to anyone that's not expecting it. But you know, we have been around since 1924. And I can sort of send you bits and pieces about all of that to sort of try to renew the links. But when we're doing this 100 Women for 100, and one of the women that we've just looked at before you came on was Elizabeth Hawes, who was the first liaison officer you had, and she was very helpful in the Second World War because she was a linguist. So some people might sort of vaguely have heard of her, but I've got a great book. Where is it? It's an American published one, Soroptimist International Association, Golden Jubilee, 1921 to 1971, by Beatrice Heislop, who is an historian rather than a Soroptimist, and I think she's done a wonderful job. It's really very easy to access information in a methodical manner. So I found that really interesting, and you probably would as well if you're able to get hold of it. It's probably easier in the States than it is here. Anyway, some of these old books are really very interesting to look at and give us a greater idea of just how formidable Soroptimism was in the early days, or that's what it looks like looking back. And these books are contemporary. They were written by people about the time and that period. So it did make a big difference. And I think maybe the Second World War altered a lot of things. I come from Australia, and we were just getting over the Great Depression, of course. And so all of our men were called up. I didn't know what a man was. And not a lot of them, didn't come back. They were fighting in the Pacific Islands. And so we really, I'm a generation that didn't really have very much, because the war had destroyed everything. And I suppose men then, when they came back, they had to have every opportunity to readjust their lives. And women were supposed to just produce babies to protect us in the next World War. And so
I apologise to cut you off because
yeah, of course.
I appreciate that
I know.
there's a lot to share and it all sounds amazing.
Mm.
What we'd really like to do is try and keep this conversation going
Yes.
and make sure that we all stay connected. So can I just ask members in Oakland, would that be okay if we follow up after today and stay in touch and include our members in London as well?
That would be
yeah.
fine.
Brilliant. Okay. Only because I know that time is precious this afternoon. So apologies to cut you off, Irene. Just getting back onto timing. So thank you so much to members for the questions that they've put forward and for all the comments. That's really helpful. Thank you to members joining us from SI Oakland. I'm now going to hand back to Helen, who is our regional president, who is going to facilitate perhaps the tastiest bit of the afternoon, which is cake cutting and bubbles. So thank you, everybody. I'm going to go and join my colleagues now from Milton Keynes. Thank you.